no firing. Today we have this 2000 Silverado turbo. It's 5.3. It's coming from a shop that a customer brought him a turbo kit and said, hey, can you put it on? And so they obliged. Is a eBay turbo kit. Definitely some issues with this kit, and it's not on the shop. Customer brought it in and said, hey, put this on, and so they did. But sometimes you gotta go through and address a few things with the customer. Right here we have AC line sitting on turbine housing. That's definitely not going to last. Well, we got the intercooler back here and zero airflow. In fact, the bottom of the bumper seals the intercooler from really getting virtually any airflow. There's none here, so really they're going to have to open up some of this somewhere in order to get airflow back to this small intercooler. The other thing is these kits, they put one wastegate right down here, and it's really only wastegating the driver's side. Here, I'll show you. So it comes up, goes into the passenger side manifold, which, I mean, it looks like they've done some modifying too, because they realize that this manifold does hit the spark plug wires. So it looks like they did a little clearance there. But you're not really wastegating the exhaust coming from this side. Just the amount of flow and volume and everything running through the engine, you're really only wastegating the driver's side. So now you have this cylinder imbalance because you actually have more drive pressure on this side than you do over there. I know a lot of people buy these kits, and then they run them a few months, nuke their motors because they run some mail order tune or something like that, and yeah, just not a good setup. You want to be able to do it as equally as possible. Now, even with like the Huron Speed manifold, which I run on my personal truck, you're still kind of getting a little bit of a cylinder imbalance because you have the exhaust coming from the driver's side all the way around and then commingling with the exhaust on the passenger side. Now, what's happening is when the exhaust valves are opening on the driver's side, they're opening into whatever flow that they had previously going through the exhaust manifold. These now on the passenger side are opening in to the combined exhaust flow of whatever was in there from this side and whatever's kind of traveled over from the driver's side. So usually you run hotter on this side because you have just a little bit higher pressure, a little bit higher drive pressure in here, so it's a little bit harder to get all of the combustion gases out of the cylinder when the exhaust valve opens up. And so you normally run a little bit hotter on this side. Ideally, equal length is of course ideal, but you work with what you can fit where you can fit it. And the Huron Speed kit is a very good kit, high quality kit. Unfortunately, this is not a Huron Speed kit, this is an eBay kit. So we're gonna do a few pulls. It's on pump gas, get it dialed in on gate, and then send them home with a list of stuff to address with the customer, and hopefully they can get that fixed, and hopefully the customer can have a reliable vehicle. I hate seeing stuff like this because if it doesn't perform like the customer thinks it should, it's either the place that put it in or it's the tuner's fault. It's never the products. Never the products. It's always the tuner's fault or the place that installed it. Even if they bring in just trash junk and they're like, hey, put it in, and because you're trying to make a customer happy, you do it, and then ultimately it comes back to bite you in the butt because their junk essentially has issues. And with, like, for instance, factory engine management systems like this, it doesn't have closed loop wideband fueling in boost. The knock detection is a little iffy when you start adding a bunch of this aftermarket stuff. There's just a bunch of things that can go wrong with this, and it's unfortunate that that's what it comes down to. But we can only work with what we are given, and if we're given essentially junk, that's really what you're going to get. You can only do so much. We can only compensate and factor in for so many things. These ECUs don't have lean out protection. They don't have a good overboost protection that works well. They don't have closed loop fueling at wide open throttle. It doesn't have low oil pressure protection. So unfortunately, there's just things that happen. I hate seeing it when there's just kind of some subpar stuff that's put together. Now, if you're putting it together and you understand that, okay, hey, this is stuff that may happen, and you really know what's going on inside of it, that's one thing. But if you just, hey, I want to turbo my truck, I don't really know what this turbo is, I don't really know what this is, I don't really know what that is, and then it doesn't work, half the time people are looking for somebody to blame. And that's not what they should be doing. They should really be looking at the parts and how they're putting the whole thing together. And like, for instance, with this completely stock motor, no valve springs. Luckily it does have fuel injectors, map sensor, fuel pump, but there's still issues there. Factory valve springs. Now you start combining a lot of these issues with the very small turbine housing and the fact that you're not able to fully wastegate the exhaust on the passenger side, and you run the risk of boost creep, overboosting, and now you run into valve float issues because these factory valve springs, especially on higher mileage engines, they don't work well at high boost. They don't work well at high RPM, and then you start running into a whole plethora of other issues. So we'll jump into this, putting it on the 2-bar or 2.5 bar operating system, and we'll see what she makes on gate and get her dialed in. All right, first pull, a couple pounds of boost already blowing off intercooler boots. So we'll get that clamp back up, and it is on speed density now, so technically he can get rid of that mass airflow sensor, but we'll get that tightened up, maybe check a couple other ones, and get back to it. That? Kind of feel that? Means no firing. No firing in the wastegate. Kind of a common issue. We've gone over this a couple times in previous videos. So yeah, that's the reason why it takes a little bit to get online. Well, it's something they're definitely going to have to address. think we're going to wrap this one up, send it back, have them address a few things. It is throwing a couple knock sensor codes, so automatically when you're getting into power enrichment, it pulls max timing. And also the firing on the wastegate, intercooler no airflow, Optima battery, I mean they're crap anyways. AC line pretty much touching the downpipe over there. There's a few other things that need to be addressed, and they can get that sorted out and we can get her all finished back up. But as of right now, it's pretty much until those are fixed, it's not really worth going through the rest of the tune until we've got that sorted out. Unfortunately, I don't have a firing that'll fit this wastegate, and oftentimes with the Chinese wastegates, even if you have the same one, 38 millimeter, 44, 50, 60, just due to the manufacturing process and who made it or whatnot, oftentimes the rings don't fit correctly. With other ones, they don't mix and match. So we're going to pull it off, have them take it back, address the issues, and maybe we'll see it again.